All right, today's Sunday, December 30th, 2018. Just want to do a little update here of the work I've been doing the past couple days. Hadn't been really a whole lot, just kind of a lot of tedious stuff that takes a lot of time. Last night or yesterday evening, me and my wife, we popped on the front and back glass. That went good. The only part, it had a little bit of pinhole right there, so I just put a little bit of caulking. I'm going to go over it with some 3M stuff. But the seals are really tight. Has a sticker from 97, that's Texas registration and Texas inspection. Thought that was pretty cool that it's still on there. On the back it's written, I think the car had 60-some thousand miles at the time. I'm going to leave that on there because I like that. That's pretty cool. That's when the guy told me the car was taken apart and it's been sitting since, so he wasn't lying about it. As far as putting the windshield on, it went pretty straightforward. We used the string method. So what you do is you pop on, lay this glass out on a table or wherever, and you pop your channel on, and then you set the windshield on. Well, first you pop your channel on, then you run a string around on the inside rubber all the way around, and then you lay your glass and you pull your string, and what it does is it pulls the rubber up under the lip all the way around. There's videos on YouTube on how to do that. Just, I'm not going to explain, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Went easy, no cracks, no chips. My wife helped out. She was a big help with that. She actually is the one that pulled the string. Then we did the back glass. Same thing. Same method, string method. Overall, this took about, I don't know, we took our time. It took about 3 hours, maybe 2.5, 3 hours. She was a big help. She pulled the string for me, and I was out here pressing down on it and watching to make sure everything's good. So front and back glass are in. Marked where the clips are, so when it comes time to snap the molding on, you know where to tap. The windshield and the back window were covered in overspray. I guess previous body shop, so I used clay bar and some detailing spray. Clay bar took it right out. Took about 30 minutes each window. There's all kinds of information out there on the internet on how to remove overspray. Some say lacquer thinner, some say paint thinner, some say a razor blade, which no way am I using a razor blade. Clay bar and detail spray, by far the safest, the easiest. All you do is spray your spray on there and rub it down with the clay bar, and it just wipes it right off. Same with the door glass. These things were covered in overspray because I had them up on the cabinet up there while I was doing all the primer and stuff, and I forgot about them. So they were up there. But same thing, covered in overspray. So clay bar, use the 0000 steel wool, a little mother's polish on all the chrome, brought them back to life. These things have been replaced. These aren't original, so that's good. Glass is tinted blue, which is cool, so did that. Door glasses are done. Did the same with the quarters. These things were covered in overspray also. So clay bar, steel wool, mother's polish, Windex to finish it off. Brought them back to life. Same thing on all. I got all the side glass ready to go in. I'm really impressed with this passenger side vent window. Man, there's like no pitting on it. That's pretty impressive for the pot metal. That's really nice. I like that. This other one has some pitting on it, so I guess you can't win twice. But it's not that bad. You can see it has pits. I'm not going to replate that. I'm going to put that on the car. So whatever. You don't even see it when the door's closed. You only see it when the door's open. But pot metal is hard to work with, so I don't even want to take that apart or anything. These regulators are new, or they've been sitting in a box, but they're new. I have about three more sets. What else did we do? Put the door handles on, which went really easy, went exactly how it should. I don't know why the other set of door handles, the bolts, when you go to tighten, when I went to tighten them, the bolt was tight, but the handle wasn't tight. The bolt wasn't bottomed out yet. So I just turned it, and the bolt broke off in the door handle. So then I tried to drill it out and re-tap it, and it turned into way more work than it should have been. So I'm stuck with one new door handle and one that has a broke off bolt in it. So I ordered new door handles. These went on exactly how they should have. I mean, the bolt bottomed out by hand on both of them. Chrome is nice. Got these things off of eBay. The one bad thing was the rubber fit kind of like crap, which they seem like they always do. You can trim it with a razor if you want, but I don't like taking a razor blade. So I dug in my boxes of stuff and I found some old rubbers, or new, in a wrapper, purchased in '97 to go with this sticker. And they fit way better. This side fits pretty good. They fit way better than the newer versions. So we got the door handles on, front and back glass, got the side glass cleaned up. I got the regulators in. Finally figured out how those things work. Got it ready to hot wire when it comes time to put the glass in. Waiting on my door locks before I put the glass in. I got front door regulators in. I got the passenger side quarter in. Got it hot wired. I got to put this quarter in, and then the glass is ready to go in. Just need to do my roof rail. I need to polish the roof rail stainless. It's going to go really easy. What else? Went to Lowe's and I picked up a roll of this bubble foil stuff, and I'm going to lay on the carpet. You know, some might laugh at that. I think that roll is 100 square feet. It was $42. You can put Dynamat. You can put anything under the sun that they sell online for automotive, which would be like 3 times the price. But I think that the end result is still the same. It's insulation and it's heat resistant and fire retardant. And so what difference does it make if it's a certain brand or not? That's the way I see it. So I bought that roll and I got some adhesive. I'm going to lay that down on the floorboards before I throw the carpet in. And you'll never see it again. So works for me. What else? My low car dipstick came in. It's anodized aluminum and black braided stainless. This thing is a really, really nice piece. It locks. It's like a air hose coupler. So you have to, that locks in place. This also locks onto the dipstick. So you put this in your dipstick, it tightens from inside the pan with this little collar, rubber collar, and then you snap your dipstick on. I how to do this one-handed. Let's see here. Well, you get the idea. This thing's a really nice piece. It was 150 bucks. Kind of pricey. It mounts to the firewall, and you don't need a little tube that they send to fill it up, because this uses like a standard size filter or a funnel, which is good. 150 bucks, kind of top dollar, meaning considering that I paid $200 for the transmission, I paid almost damn near the same price for the dipstick. But I'm really tired of transmissions leaking from the dipstick. It seems like every one I've had, they leak. So I said, this one is not going to leak. So I went and paid the premium, got that. The kickdown cable came in off of eBay. And that's about it. So today I'm going to put this on the transmission. I'm going to lay my carpet out. I'm going to maybe wrap the sail panels, lay the vinyl out so it gets the wrinkles out, and just kind of piddle around, maybe polish some more stainless. But basically the trim is ready to go on around the windows. The trim can go on around the back window. The sail panel can go in. The package tray can go in. The glass can go in. And then the carpet installation, carpet, door panels, seats. Still need to run the wiring. Yeah, I got to do the wiring first before carpet. So still a little bit of work, but we're making progress. Stay tuned. I'm really digging the 97 sticker. I'm leaving that on there. Stay tuned for more updates. Thanks for watching.